Hello and welcome. My name's Dr. Tina Rae. I'm an educational and child psychologist. This is the final session in my series of 20, which focus on mental health and well-being for teens and tweens. So I'm hoping that the whole series has been useful to you, and also that this final session will just flag up the need to really keep safe online. This is one of the key issues that I've been asked to talk about in these sessions, and I've left it till the end because I've made reference obviously to our online behaviours in previous sessions, but I think it's really helpful now just to refocus on this, because this last year we've been in the COVID pandemic, and I think for many of us we've probably spent more time online than ever before. So it's really, really important that both children and younger adults know how to keep safe online and what to do if they're concerned or worried. What do you know? I think we all know that social media can be positive and negative for our well-being. It can help us feel connected to other people. I've spent a lot of time during the last few months in my WhatsApp group with my lovely friends, and it's been really, really supportive for me. And that sense of connection is vital for our well-being. But also, for some of us, it can make us feel quite lonely if we don't feel that we're part of the so-called in-group. We also know that having a good balance of on and off screen time is essential for our mental health. Being online all the time, being hyper vigilant about what's going on your phone, on Instagram, TikTok, etc., is not actually healthy, and it can disrupt sleep and it can increase levels of anxiety. We know this. So do you know how to protect yourself, how to keep a right balance, but also, very importantly, how to keep safe online? And do you know what to do if you have problems or you feel uncomfortable or anxious about things that have happened when you've been online? So let's think about some of the things you need to do to keep safe. There are 10 essential rules, I think, for all of us here. The first one is that it's really important that you don't post any personal information online, like your address, your email address or mobile number. This is vital. Keep that to yourself, keep it confidential. Number 2 is around keeping very, very thoughtful about what you're actually posting in terms of visual images. So think carefully before you post any pictures or videos of yourself, because once you've put a picture of yourself online, most people can see it and may be able to download it. It doesn't belong to you anymore. It's if you've shared it, you've given it away. Number 3, keep your privacy settings as high as possible. And if you're not sure about how to do that, then get help from your parents, your carers, or a trusted adult. And of course, number 4, never, ever, ever give out your passwords. And don't befriend people you don't know. This is really, really vital, because we know that some people will masquerade, they'll pretend to be someone else. And sometimes this is really, really dangerous, and we can get caught up into certain situations that will really damage both our mental, emotional, physical well-being. So vital that you don't befriend people that you don't know. And if you're concerned, go and seek help. Talk to someone if you're worried about who is trying to befriend you. Also, what's very important for children and young people is not to meet up with people you've met online. If someone asks to meet up with you, and speak to your parent or carer about this. Really, really vital. They need to know about this. And it's important because, as I'm saying here, number 7, it's not everyone online who they're saying they are. They say they might be someone, but they might not be that individual person. You might be a 13-year-old girl or boy talking to someone who pretends that they're also a 13-year-old girl or boy, but they're actually not. And I think this is really, really important. Sadly, we have to be very aware of this. Think carefully about what you say before you put something online. This is another thing. It's not just about putting visual images, putting pictures of yourself or things that you've done, but it's also about what you say, because again, these things are out there, they stay out there and people can see them. And sometimes if you're saying something that's very unkind about someone else, then of course someone will have the evidence that you maybe have been unkind or bullying. And I think this is really, really important to remember. Number 9, Respect other people's views. Even if you don't agree with someone else's views, doesn't mean that you need to be rude or unkind to them. Remember this, it's very important, because again, it can look very much like bullying behaviour when we quickly just type something in, like, this is a stupid comment that you made, or, you know, worse than that, actually. But we've got to be careful about that. And number 10, if you see something online that makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or worried, then leave the website, turn off your computer if you want to, and really tell a trusted adult absolutely immediately. Go straight away and find that trusted adult. Really, really important. Bullying is sadly an issue for many people online. And I think this is really important to remember. There's lots about social media, for example, that's very positive in terms of making connections and being part of the group, as I said earlier. But we've got to be very careful here. You must tell a trusted adult if you feel that you're being bullied. You must block the number on your phone. Keep the messages, though, to show the adult that you're going to talk to. And of course, change your number. If the problem is serious, then naturally you're going to report it to the police, cyber mentors, or Childline. And it's really vital, as soon as you think that this is happening to you and you feel bullied, to actually go and talk to someone, even if you're not sure, because sometimes I think people don't recognise it for what it is. You think, am I feeling uncomfortable? Yes. Is this bullying? I'm not sure. Go and talk to someone. And if it is bullying, there are ways in which this can be sorted out for you. Sexting. Sadly, many children, young people that I've worked with have engaged in this kind of behaviour, sending sexual images of themselves. And this is dangerous. It puts you at risk of abuse. Please don't go there. And if asked to do this, tell a trusted adult immediately. And of course, there is an awful lot of pornography online. And we know that children and young people are accessing this on greater levels than previously understood. There's a lot of concern amongst psychologists and therapists about children's behaviour online and their access to pornography and the ways in which this is damaging them in terms of their mental health. So I think it's really vital that you're aware of this and you try your very best to avoid anything pornographic. It's damaging to your self-esteem, your body image, and your mental health. It can lead to really increased levels of anxiety and risky behaviours. Report it at once if you access this stuff. And please don't feel ashamed or embarrassed, because adults know that most children and young people are likely to have seen some pornography online. And most of this is done for the first time accidentally, okay, via pop-ups, which are shown by someone else unexpectedly. So please don't feel ashamed or worried about it, but do go and talk about it. My top tip here, of course, around keeping safe online is to keep talking. Keep talking to trusted friends and adults about what you're doing and seeing online. Don't be afraid to discuss issues or things that you feel uncomfortable or worried about. It's really important for all of us to remember this, that hiding our fears and worries only increases our levels of anxieties about everything. It's so good to talk, okay? And we mustn't ever be ashamed of sharing worries, anxieties, the fact that we're not okay, the fact that we maybe have access stuff that we're unsure about that's made us feel uncomfortable or unsafe. So thanks very, very much for listening again to this final session in the 20 session series for teens and tweens. I'd really value your feedback. If there are any topics that you'd like me to cover in future, I'm going to carry on posting things both for adults and for children and young people to access. I think at this moment in time, it's really, really important that we share our skills, that we share our knowledge of how to keep ourselves well, fit and healthy, so that we can continue to navigate our way through this pandemic and come out the other side as really strong, resilient human beings who can thrive and really have optimistic and hopeful futures. I'm hoping that these sessions have been helpful. I'm hoping that you will have taken quite a lot away from them. I'm hoping that they'll give you lots to talk about with friends, family, and people that look after you in schools. So don't forget, please don't stop creating your own toolbox of well-being and make it work for you. Be flexible and keep learning and trying new things to see what works best and keeps you well. So thanks very, very much for listening. And hopefully we will meet again in the future when I post some additional sets of resources.